Okay, in the last video I told you about the bus structure of any particular microprocessor, and since our subject mainly focuses on 8086 processor, we studied the various buses which were coming under 8086 microprocessor. Okay, so actually we are having three types of buses, that is address bus, data bus and control bus. Okay, address bus, data bus and control bus. So as the name specifies itself, address bus is responsible for transmitting address through that bus. Data bus is responsible for transmitting data through that bus, as well as control bus is responsible for transmitting control signals through that bus. Okay, so all these important basic concepts we have already covered in the last video itself. Now I am actually planning to tell what is the actual basic operation which is carried out within a processor with the help of or otherwise influencing the concept of buses. Okay, I'm going to influence the concept of buses more here. Okay, I'm not going to explain the details of architecture of 8086 processor or any other processor. Okay, I'm going to give emphasis to the bus structure. That means how the processor will be working internally. Okay, giving emphasis to the bus structure. That means how these three categories of buses will be actively cooperating with one another for the smooth functioning of a microprocessor. Okay, I'll tell you once more how the different types of buses are actively or otherwise cooperatively working together for the smooth functioning of a particular processor. Okay, so thing is that we are having three different types of buses. Don't think that only any one of the bus will be working. Okay, the thing is that these three buses have to cooperatively work and also have to communicate with each other for the smooth functioning of a processor to happen. That is, for the processor to work normally, these three buses have to actively work and they have to cooperate with one another. Okay, so the thing what is going to happen is I told you the basic diagram or the basic block diagram of a particular computer system. Okay, we had a input device here. Okay, hope you might be remembering that basic block diagram, and we are having a processor here. Okay, that is a microprocessor is here, and here we are having a memory. Okay, and on the other hand we are having an output device here. Okay, so the thing is that the microprocessor has to communicate with this input device, memory as well as output device only with the help of various buses. Okay, so we are having three types of buses. Since the contents whatever is going to be passed through that bus is varying, we are having three types of buses. Okay, so think what is going to happen is actually the user is residing over here. Okay, the user will be providing a particular program for which he want to perform a specific action or an operation through this input unit. For example, the user whoever is residing here, okay, wants a processor to execute or otherwise to process or to find out the factorial of a number. Okay, for example, if that user who is waiting outside wants this processor to find the factorial of a number, so this user is actually aware that the processor doesn't have a brain or a logic concept of its own. Okay, so the user itself has to provide the certain sets of instructions, otherwise has to provide the program, okay, through this input unit to the microprocessor. Then only the processor will be able to understand what they have to do actually. Okay, otherwise they doesn't know what to do at each and every step. So from A to Z, that means from the initial stage to the final stage, the user has to tell the microprocessor or otherwise specify the microprocessor in terms of programs what to do at each and every step. Okay, so for example, the user has given the program through this input unit. Okay, and the microprocessor will be simply receiving that program. Okay, and you have to note one thing here, the data bus will be working. Okay, so for suppose this is a data bus. Okay, so the data bus will be simply receiving the program. Okay, this is a data bus. The thing is that the microprocessor will be receiving that program. Okay, and if the execution is not going to be carried out now, okay, the processor will be maintaining the program into the memory. The thing is that memory is defined in terms of various memory locations. We are having various memory locations in the memory. Okay, even though memory is having very large size or very large capacity, we cannot store whatever information provided to the memory as such. Okay, we have to specify to which particular memory location we need to store our data. Okay, or otherwise the program. For example, I am having the memory location here. If it is 2000, this is 2001, this is 2002, this is 2003, 2004, 2005 and 2006. Okay, 2000, 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, so suppose like that. So the thing is that if the processor want to store some program or data to the memory, okay, with the help of address bus, it must be able to, the processor must be able to specify to which particular location he want to store the program. Okay, so the thing is that I'm going to write something into the memory. Okay, so the corresponding control signal has to be sent through the control bus. Okay, the control bus must carry certain control signals first of all. So what all control signals are there? Actually, we are having memory read, memory write, IO read, IO write, and also there is one additional thing, opcode fetch. Okay, that I will tell you in the last point. Okay, so memory read is there, memory write, IO read, IO write. So the thing is that of all the three buses, the first bus which is going to work, which is going to be active, is the control bus itself, because when the corresponding control signals, that is whatever operation has to be performed internally, the corresponding control signals, the operation, whatever operation we are going to perform, okay, that operations control signal has to be passed through the control bus. Then only they will be aware of what they have to perform actually. Okay, so here we are going to write something to the memory. The user has provided the program, so the processor want to write the program to the memory. So memory write is the control signal, whatever we have to do. MEMW is the control signal that has to be passed through the control bus. Okay, so when the control bus is having the control signal MEMW, that is memory write, they can find that, they can understand that, yeah, there is something to be written into the memory. Okay, so since memory is having a very large space, we need the address to which the corresponding program has to be written. Okay, in the second instant what they will do, so the first instant control bus will be working. In the second instant what they will do, they will be looking for address bus, because I told you memory is having very large space. Okay, we need the exact location to which the program has to be written. They understood that we are going to write something into the memory as soon as they found the control signal MEMW in the control bus. So naturally they will be looking for the corresponding address to where you have to write the program into the memory. Okay, so then they will be looking into the address bus. So for example, they found out the location 2000. Okay, in the address bus, if they found the value 2000, okay, what they will do, they will be simply going on pointing out to this corresponding location. Okay, they will be simply going, they will be getting ready to locate this particular memory location, so that whatever data or program is coming through the data bus, they will be simply collecting it and storing in this particular memory location. That means in the third step only, data bus will be going to be active. Okay, why the data bus is active? They understood from the first step itself there is something to be written into the memory, and in the second step they understood to which specific location they are going to write the data or the program. Okay, that means here in this example we are going to write the program into the location 2000. Okay, and in the third step only they will be going and fetching the program and then corresponding to this particular location. For example, if this is the data bus, to this particular location they will be feeding the program or otherwise data. In this particular context, I am going to feed the program into the memory. This is what is happening. So the control bus, for doing any particular operation, the control bus is going to be active in the initial stage itself. In the second step, the address bus is going to be active, and in the third bus, data bus is going to be active. Okay, if I am going to explain you another one application. First application I told you about memory write. Okay, in the second application, if you want to read some content from the memory which has been already written earlier, okay, if there was some content already written in this memory, for example, the program is already stored in this 2000 location like that. Okay, after some time the processor feels that it is time for execution. The processor now feels that it is time for execution. What does it do? It has to simply fetch or retrieve the program from this corresponding memory location, process it, and then give the result to the output unit. Okay, that is going to be happen. So, but the thing is that the control buzzer has to receive some other control signal which helps them to identify that we have to read something from the memory. Okay, I told you the program whatever is written already in the memory now has to be read back, otherwise has to be retrieved now. Then only the processor can execute. Okay, so the program now has to be retrieved back to the processor. The program which is already written in the memory has now to be fetched back to the processor. So now we are going to read something from the memory. So the corresponding control signal memory read has to be passed through control bus. Okay, the memory read signal will pass through the control bus. At that particular time, this units will be aware that something is going to be read from the memory. So at this point of time also, the memory, since it is having very large space, okay, they will be simply going and looking onto the address bus. Okay, because they want to know from which particular memory location you want to read your data. Okay, and since my program was already fed into the location 2000, the value 2000 will be fed into the address bus. Okay, so once they see that 2000 is the address location from where you have to read your data or program, okay, they will be simply pointing out to this particular location, and through the data bus, okay, there is a third category, there is the data bus. Through that data bus, the data, the program or the data whatever it is you want to read will be simply going through the data bus to microprocessor. Okay, so that is actually happening with the help of buses. Okay, so I told you all these things are with respect to the concept of memory. Okay, but the similar concept is going to happen if it is in the case of input and output unit also. Okay, the thing is that some of the input device and as well as some of the output devices is also represented using various addresses. Okay, some certain input units and as well as certain output units is also represented with the help of addressing. Okay, so the thing is that here I used a 16-bit addressing, that means 2000. I used a 16-bit addressing in order to represent a memory. 2 means 0010, 0000, 0000, 0000. Okay, so it is actually 2000. This is represented in hexadecimal form. Okay, so actually it is a 16-bit addressing. So memory is usually represented with help of 16-bit addressing. That means each and every address location or otherwise each and every memory location of a memory is represented with a 16-bit addressing. Okay, but on the other hand, input output devices is having an addressing with only 8-bit address. That means 8-bit addressing is quite sufficient in order to represent the addressing scheme of input unit as well as output unit. Okay, so for example 20 is quite enough, or otherwise 2A is quite enough. Okay, so if they are having various address locations like that, and here also there are various address locations like this. Okay, so what is happening, for example, if it is 2A is the first address location, then 2B, then 2C, these are all address locations. So here the input devices as well as output devices is having an addressing with of only 8-bit. How it became 8-bit? For 2A, how can you write in 8-bit? 0010, 1010. See, it is just 8-bit. Okay, so input and output devices other than memory requires only 8-bit addressing in order to denote the various locations. On the other hand, memory is using a 16-bit addressing. Okay, hope it is clear. So the thing is that if you want to access something from the input device, that is if the processor wants something from the input device, there also the same procedure is going to happen. In the first stage itself, if you want to read something from the input device, okay, if the program is written to this input device, okay, from this input device it is read to the microprocessor. Okay, you have to read from this input device to the microprocessor. So what will happen? The control signal IO read will be working. Okay, the IO read control signal will pass through the control bus. So at that particular time, microprocessor will understand that is there is something to be read from this input device. Okay, there is something to be read from the input device. So the second stage itself, they will simply go and look at from which address location I have to read the data. Okay, so for example, I am reading the data from 2A. Okay, from this particular location I am going to read the data. Okay, so the address corresponding to this address location is 2A. So naturally they will be pointing to this particular location, and in the third stage, through the data bus, they will be simply carrying the data and getting back into the microprocessor. Okay, hope it is understood. On the other hand, if you want to write something, that is, if I want to write whatever data which is present within the microprocessor, which is generated after doing some operations, that is, if I have performed the sum of two numbers and I got a result, Okay, and that particular result has to be returned to this output unit, then only the corresponding user will be able to view the result. Okay, so the thing is that here also there are various address locations which is specified in order to define the addressing of output device. There are various locations. Okay, for example, it is 3A. Here also only 8-bit addressing is required. 3B, etc. is there. If you look that, for example, 3A, 3B, let it be the addressing of this output device. Okay, so what is going to happen if you want to write the corresponding data, whatever is obtained from this microprocessor to this output device, what is going to happen? The same procedure. The only thing is that the control signal is going to be changed. The control signal corresponding to this operation is IO write. That is, the processor needs to write something into this output device. Okay, so IO write is the control signal which is going to be passed through this control bus. So naturally, when this corresponding IO write signal is passed through the control bus, they will be simply going and waiting to the address bus. Okay, so for example, if you want to transmit, or otherwise if you want to output your device, output your result or output your data through 3A, okay, through 3A address, then 3A will be passing through the address bus. So what happens at that time? The 3A, they will be simply pointing and waiting in this particular location. Okay, 3A, this is the location. There they are going to accept the data whatever is received from the microprocessor. Okay, this is a location, that is, this is the 3A location where they are going to wait so as to receive the data which is received from the microprocessor. And the third step, when the microprocessor simply transmits the data which is passed through the data bus, what will happen? It will be going directly to 3A. That is the data which is received, which is generated after doing some computational operation. The data which is passing through the data bus will simply go through 3A. Okay, and then it will be received by the user. So actually this is what is happening. Okay, when we explain the operations involving the three categories of buses. So actually we are having only three types of buses: address bus, data bus and control bus. But these are things I want to explain, otherwise I want you to make aware when you are explaining the operations which are involved by the combined effort of all the three buses. Okay, hope it is all clear for you.